Alright guys, I'm back again with this other tutorial on this other lift kit. As you can see, I got part of it done here on this BMW MX-5 in front of you. I didn't do it all the way, I just did it this part so you can see what it's going to look like sitting up, because by the end of this video it ain't going to be completely finished, so I just went ahead and threw a tire on it. But let me show you what I got so far. I got the lift kit made up with the wheels in there, and I'm going to show you exactly how I do this. And I just went ahead and slid that axle tube in there, and you see it sliding, it ain't fixed in place, so I just stuck it in there so I could show you. But the way we do this is we start out with these little guys, and they come in a pack. I got them from Advanced Auto Parts. They come in a pack like this. They're 12 to 10 gauge 1/4 inch ring connectors, and make sure you get 12 to 10 gauge. Most time they have the yellow on them. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna pull this little yellow boot off, and the way I do that is I stick one of my needle nose pliers in the end of the cap here. As you can see down in there, that metal, there's a metal collar that attaches to this ring. You don't want to grab that, because if you grab that and then grab where I'm going to show you to grab the other part, you're going to be just pulling on the ring. So you want to make sure you just grab the yellow collar itself, not the metal collar that's down in there. And then you take, and what I do, you ain't got to do it the same way, but what I do is I take my pliers and grab the ring itself and I pull. Now I'm not going to pull on camera because I'm going to knock my camera off, because they in there pretty good. So I'm going to pull off camera and pop this out real quick and show you what we do next. If I can get this one to come off, it don't want to work right. Like I said, they in there pretty tight, so I'm going to pop this one off real quick. There we go. And as you can see, it comes off, and that little collar right there is what we need. We don't need this yellow boot, it's just in the way, so we can throw that fella in the trash. And then what you're left with is you're left with a straight eyelet, and you got this ring on the end here. And as you can see, our tension pin that we used in the last lift kit video, which we're also using in this one, it slides in there rather nicely. But now it ain't gonna do you no good flat like this. So what we do is we bend it into a right angle like this here, and the way we do that is my pair of pliers, as you can see here, it's got a flat part in the jaw. It's got some grip on it too, but I use the flat part for this. These is my do everything pliers. But also I need to show you my nail. What I use is a nail, and as you can see on that nail, I took my Dremel and flattened out one side of the ear, the head right there. And the reason that is because I'm going to stick my nail in this eyelet like so. And as you can see, the flat side's up. And you see that gap in there where that head's touching the eyelet and it ain't flush? Well, you don't want that, because you want it to bend right here where that flat part turns into that round collar. And with that, it's going to keep you from getting a grip tight enough up on your pliers. So I had to flatten it out so it goes, as you see, all the way in there. Now what you want to do is you want to take your pliers and you want to grip right up to the head of that nail, and make sure you got it lined up straight under there. Make sure it's straight, make sure it ain't cockways, because then it'll bend crooked, and you don't want that, because then your truck will roll crooked. So you want it as straight as possible, as close up to the head of that nail as possible. And it's pretty easy to turn. You grip that sucker real good, and then you just take that nail, it gives you the leverage to bend it on over. And you make sure when you bend it, you see how you don't want to stop right there, because then your axle's going to be shooting up. You want it to be a good right angle, just like that right there. Now it don't look like a right angle because that nail is all wobbly in there, but it's a good right angle. Get it touched one more time right there. Let me show you here. You see how good of a right angle that is right there? Let me show you here too. Right there. Now some of them in the wheel wells, the wheel wells are large enough that the whole eyelet will fit in there. And then what my plan is to go back with them and take some JB Weld and smooth over it so you won't see it, the ones that I use the whole circle. But the ones like this, as you can see, it don't look too bad. It just looks like part of the suspension in there because I had to cut it. Now, you can use a Dremel to cut these, but they're copper, so they throw a lot of mess in your face, and you don't really have to use a Dremel to cut them. What I do is I just take my little nippers here, and I find where I want to cut that sucker, like this right here, and it's just that easy. You see how it clipped that easy? You do the same thing on the other side. And you got a lift kit ready to go right there. And then what you do is, once you get these positioned where you want them on the truck, like I did here, you just glue it on there, right? You glue it, make sure you, before you go to gluing anything, you wanna take your lift kit and push it together like this. As you can see here, you take your tension pin, and some of these holes are a little smaller than others, they're a little tighter, so you have to push them down in there. They'll go. It's just a little tight, as you can see there. But what you want to do is you want to put them together like this, where this is what you have, right? After you clip this side, of course. And then you want to line it up on your truck to see how it's going to fit. You push it down, which I can't do it on this one because I've already got one there, but you push it down and see how it's going to line up, how it's going to fit, and all that good stuff. Then what you do is you take it back apart after you do your test fit. What I do is I smother me some of that glue, smear it all over the back of this here, and then I take it in that wheel well there and I get it glued good and tight. Then what I do is I take this one that the pin's kind of tight in, because most times I grab one's loose on it and one's tight, and that helps me out pretty good. So the pin's held in there pretty good. And what I do is, that one that's glued on there, I'll take this one and smear some glue on the back of it and feed it in through that eyelet right there until it fits up good and tight to make sure everything lines up straight. Because if you don't have the tension pin in there to line up the holes, if you glue that sucker in there and one's crooked like this and the other one's crooked like that, and you go to feed that pin through there, it ain't gonna work. So what you want to do is you want to have that pin in there so you can line up your holes and make sure everything's going to be straight when you glue it on there. And me, I like to eyeball it on the side, you know, to make sure everything's straight up and down. Let me see if I can get in the camera here. Where everything's straight up and down like it is there, and this sucker isn't cocked out frontward and throwing your tires way out to the front or way out to the back or whatever. And once you get that all together and get that on the truck like that, then what you do is you take your little piece of tubing, like I showed you in the last video with the tension pin. It's the same process. You just take your little tubing like this right here, that I got right here, that you're going to stick your axles in, and you dab you a little bit of glue on the opening right there, and you push through the glue. You don't want to put glue on the end and then push through this way, because then it pushes all your glue out. What you want to do is you want to put glue on the opening that you're going into first, and what that'll do is that'll push that glue through that housing so it smears the whole length of the tube and holds that in there a lot better instead of just on one end and being pushed out. And once you do that, what you do is I done took my needle and cut it off, but you take your needle, let me see if I can get it here, you take a needle like that right there, and what I do is I feed it through there, through that wheel, and it comes up on that other side, and I hold it up upside down like that so the wheel goes all the way to the head of the needle, and I clip that sucker off. And then you put your little glue on there and you glue your wheels on, and like I showed you in the last video, you just keep spinning it while that glue's drying to make sure no glue got on the tire and glues the tire in place. And then you have a lifted vehicle that would otherwise not be so lifted. Now in the last video I told you I'd show you that Jeep Scrambler finished up, and this is what he looks like. And as you can see, he rolls really well. He's got his tires on him all the way around, and this here is the lift kit. Like I said before, in my lift kits you can see between the body and the axle. as you can see there, that fella is lifted up. I think he turned out pretty good. The only thing I don't like is that orange, which I'm gonna go back and drill his rivets out anyway, but I just wanted to do the lift kit video on this thing to just show you. I ain't drilled the rivets out on them yet. I just popped the tires off so I could do the lift kit. But I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna change the color of that interior and detail them out and do some more customizing to them. I just wanted to do the lift kit to show y'all how to do it to start with. While I got you right here and I'm at my desk, I'm gonna show you another little truck I've been working on. It's a Datsun 620 drift truck that I've been working on. I took him back down to bare metal and cleaned him up. I painted him blue. I got to get some tampos on him, and I took some real riders and I put some big, as PJ says, some fat meats on the back there, and I got the little tiny ones on the front, and I got the spoiler there out the back of one of those El Caminos that's got the blowed motor in it. I just took it apart and clipped it off, and as you can see, that sucker just, it's like it fits down in there perfect. It's like it's meant to. It don't even come out. I'm gonna glue it in there anyway, but as you can see right there where them wheel wells come up, this thing meets it perfect, almost like it's meant to be a drift truck. But I got that fella there I'm working on. I got to do some tampo work on him and some more fine detailing, and I had to do some sanding in those wheel wells to get these big tires to fit, and they still kind of tight, but they roll. But that's the lift kit video, guys, and I wanted to show y'all how I did it. I know whenever I started looking for ways to do the lift kits, I couldn't find anything on YouTube. I couldn't find anything on Google or anything. Nobody was doing any information on how to do a lift kit, so I don't know if too many people do it. I have seen some vehicles that are lifted, and the way I figured it out is I got to thinking about it. I seen some that some people had done, and the pictures they had posted, and they had done bent paper clips and made it a suspension type deal, and I didn't like that too good because the paper clips just aren't realistic as far as scale goes to what the suspension size is on an actual vehicle. The paper clip diameter isn't what a scaled down lift kit diameter would be, so I wanted to make something where you also don't see all that mess hanging up under the truck. You just see nothing up under it, and the tires is there. But I figured this out, so I figured I'd show y'all. Wow, that thing got some bounce to it too. He got some spin, don't he? But he bounced, almost turned over. But I hope y'all like it, and let me know what you think. And like I said, if there's anything you see I can do to improve it, or anything like that, just let me know. As far as the super glue goes, that's what I do just to get everything in place. And what I'll do later is I'll come back with some clear epoxy, and I'll epoxy up, because there's such small contact points where this axle touches the body on this lift kit. It's such a small contact point that it's easy to break it loose if you drop it or bounce it around too awful much. So what I'll do is I'll come back with some clear epoxy, and I'll smear it, and I'll start down here on the base. I'll start down here on the base, and I'll run it up over that axle tube and go back to the base on the other side, so it's got a good strong bond and is less likely to break. But for the sake of the video, I'm not going to take all that time. I think I've spent enough time as it is. But I appreciate y'all watching these long videos, and let me know what you think. Y'all have a good day.